This is The Business Experience Show, where we connect those who want to know more about digital marketing, social media, and business strategy with entrepreneurs who are succeeding in today's marketplace. Follow our blog, join our online network, or connect with us at thebusinessexperienceshow.com. And now, your host, Lisa Caprelli.
Welcome to the Business Experience Show. I'm Lisa Caprelli. Also here with me is Brian Gapps. Our next guest is the founder of Hatchwise.com, a place where small businesses can crowdsource their creative services. Welcome to our show, George Ryan.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Hi, George. Let's start with crowdsourcing. I've been hearing that word a lot these days. What exactly is it?
Crowdsourcing is, in a traditional sense, if you were going to get a logo designed, for example, you would hire someone, perhaps locally, or a design firm, and they would present you with, anywhere from like 3 to 5 different concepts, different logos they created, ideas they've come up with. And you usually work with just one designer or two designers, narrow the ideas down. And, that's how it works traditionally. With crowdsourcing, you get multiple designs created by multiple designers. It's generally run in more of a contest format. So you would, present a project to a bunch of designers. They would all create entries, designs that they want to present you with. You get to select from a very wide variety, sometimes as many as 300-400 different designs, and give feedback on all that. And you get a much wider range of selection
of choices. So we're talking about Hatchwise.com, which is your company. So basically, I want a new logo. I want some kind of new design, some graphic that I want someone to do for me. You go on your site, and I place a starting bid, right, where other graphic artist professionals will bid on and start working on the project. And
correct.
It becomes a contest.
Yes, it's a contest. You fill out the design brief, and we ask you questions like, what kind of company do you have? What are you looking for as far as a logo goes? And there's specific ideas you have, and you select the amount that you're willing to pay. It's the minimum of $100, but it can be as much as you want. Generally, the more you offer, the more variety you're going to see, and the more designers are going to participate. And then the designers all create logos based on the information you provided. You review all the logos, give feedback. They're more than willing to make changes. In the end, you select the design that you like the most, and you pay that designer the amount that you set up initially as your prize.
And so you only pay the person whose design you like. So everyone
Correct.
else who did a design, they obviously don't get that, but that's part of it. They know that.
Correct. Yes, they know that, and they get the experience. They get a piece to put in their portfolio. We get a lot of designers that are, practicing or in school, making some extra work. So.
And do they give feedback sometimes on why their work wasn't selected?
Yeah, we do have a section that comes up whenever you log into your account showing you new entries you've received. And there's a spot there where we do ask just to give a little bit of feedback on each entry that lets the designers know what you do and don't like about it. And they can then narrow down the new designs they make for you until they're making stuff that you like. And that definitely helps the designers with, working on real projects, working with real clients. It's a good experience for them as well.
Right. Let's go back about 5 or 6 years. You were working at a lumber yard, but you just couldn't contain your entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. Where did that take you?
Well, yeah, I was working in a lumber yard about 5 years ago, I think. And I was just driving a truck, making $10 an hour. It wasn't a horrible job, but at the same time, I wanted to be doing something more. I've always enjoyed creating things, coming up with new ideas, new ways to make money. And so I set out to come up with, some sort of business idea while I was still working at the lumberyard. Initially I thought I'd try to fix computers for a living, so I made some flyers, posted them at the supermarkets in the area, and said, give me $50, I'll fix any problem on your computer, plus you pay for parts. And I figured out as I go along. And I got a few jobs like that, that made a little bit of money. But where that actually led me was I needed a logo for my new computer company. And I looked around online. I couldn't really find anywhere that was, reasonably priced and gave a decent amount of variety. Everybody wanted between $200 and $800, and they'd only present you with 3 to 5 logos to pick from, which that's a lot of money to commit for not very much variety. So, I went down several different paths, looking around, and what it resulted in is Hatchwise.
So the start of Hatchwise really is another case of necessity being the mother of invention.
Exactly. It's the only company I would go to if I needed a logo designed.
So quickly, take me through the process. Let's say that my company needs a logo design. What do I do?
You would go to Hatchwise. You'd click Start New Contest. You fill out the design brief. It's pretty thorough. It asks you a bunch of questions. It gives you suggestions for what to put in the different fields. Then you select the prize amount I was talking about earlier. We give suggested amounts, and there's a minimum of $100 for logo design in particular. And it just asks questions like colors. Are there any logos you do like or don't like? Stuff like that. Then you select any upgrades you might want for your contest. We have a few different ones to promote the project, give it more visibility, and then you make the payment and it goes live, and the designers start working on it right away.
Great. So I know what my costs are up front, and I simply commit to them to get access to potentially dozens of new logo designs.
Yeah, and one of the great things is you don't have to pay the prize amount up front if you don't want to. You can just pay our listing fee, which is $29, plus any upgrades you might want, to give it more visibility.
Right.
And you'll only have to pay that prize amount if you get a design that you like. You can also prepay that prize, pay it up front, in which case it's non-refundable. You do have to select a winner. And what that does is you'll get more variety, more designers working on it because they know someone is going to get awarded it.
Right. So the process actually seems fun for the business owner as well.
Yeah, I know people have a blast. We talk to customers all the time, and they're like, that was such a great experience, and telling everybody I know about it.
So who are the graphic designers?
They're people from all over the world. We have, people that work professionally doing this for a living, and this is just, a little side income they do, just relaxing end of the day. They like to just go participate in the contest. We get graphic students, people in other countries, Indonesia, Pakistan, China, making some money on the side.
Is there any place, George, that it has actually taken a hit, any part of the world, that it's more popular than others as far as the graphic designers bidding on the work?
It sort of rotates. Okay. At the moment, there's a lot of designers from Indonesia and Pakistan, although we do have a great number of designers from the U.S. as well.
And is the graphic design open to anyone?
It is open to anyone. There's no, skill level or anything like that. We let designers in batches. So if you go to the site, it might let you sign up, it might not. If it doesn't let you sign up, there is a form to just put your email address in, and you'll get an invitation whenever we're, accepting new designers.
You mentioned an Arkansas logo submission with palm trees, but that really came down to a poorly written contest.
Exactly. In the design brief, we do ask people to explain as much information about their company as possible, because you are dealing with people from, if not in your state or in your country, they're from everywhere. And, like I was telling you when we were speaking before the show, we had a contest for, I think it was a resort in Arkansas or somewhere like that. And the client contacted us and they were complaining, and they said, why am I getting palm trees? And the logos were in Arkansas. And we told them, we were like, these designers have no idea where Arkansas is. You should probably update it. They're seeing the word resort and thinking palm trees.
That's
so
cute.
they updated, and they were like, this is what Arkansas is. There are no palm trees here.
Are there concerns about people submitting graphics taken from somewhere else? How do I know if I'm getting an original design?
That is something that is a concern. It's a concern no matter who you use, whether you hire someone in town, you hire a big design firm, use anyone online, use Hatchwise. There is always the possibility of having your logo have unoriginal elements in it, whether it's clip art or copying an existing logo. And we do always recommend people to sit down with some attorney that specializes in trademark law before you use any sort of design.
For sure.
But one thing we have with Hatchwise that sets it apart from just about any other service is, number one, the fact that we have so many designers participating in these projects.
Right.
They know what clip art looks like. They've seen thousands of logos. When they see something, they're like, that looks familiar.
Right. Well, graphic design is the largest segment on Hatchwise, which also extends into business card design, stationery, web design. There are also other creative services that can be outsourced: company names, product names, slogans, taglines, and full-blown writing projects.
Yeah, that's right. We have, if you can think of it, we can do it as long as it's neither the graphic design or writing.
What is the most creative outsource request that you've seen on Hatchwise?
Let's see. We had one that I enjoyed that was a new design for a bathroom scale. And there were some of them weren't incredibly practical, some of the suggestions, but there were some really, really creative designs that came in. And that was a very successful project.
Right. The website is actually fun to look at. I like browsing the contests and looking at who won. It really is a guilty pleasure to poke around and also see the creative work.
Yeah, no, I like to look at it myself. I'll just take a break sometimes and browse and see what's happening on the site.
Your website has so many components to it. Was it something that started in-house and has grown in sophistication with regard to computer programming?
Yeah, it's something. When I initially started, I worked one-on-one with a few programmers in other countries, and I taught myself how to program. And since then, I do have an in-house programmer that does a lot of the work. But it's something that's grown. It started in my bedroom, and
that's an amazing success story. Everyone must love your story.
Your media kit says that your company has 3 full-time employees. But with the volume of work that you process, you really must be practicing what you preach when it comes to outsourcing.
Definitely. We outsource a lot of the different services that we require, such as managing the servers that Hatchwise runs on, accounting, legal, all that. That's all outsourced.
Yeah, there used to be a trend of making your small company look bigger, but that isn't necessarily the case anymore.
No, people definitely like when they hear that you're a small company just like they are. I'm a firm believer in just being the size that you are. Tell people we have 2 employees, 3 employees here.
Like, wow, you do all that?
Yeah, exactly.
And your service reminds me a bit of eBay in the early days. Your revenue comes from listing fees and some upgrade options.
That's right. Yeah, we do charge a $29 listing fee, and we do have several different upgrades. We do take some processing fee off any winnings that the designers have. But, it's very similar to eBay in some ways.
I know there are competitors out there, but no one is really doing it the way you do.
Yeah, no, we like to think that we have a special place in the market, and we're big fans of Hatchwise.
I want to go back to something I think you were touching on earlier about the design court. Hatchwise has a process where the design work is administered by peers while other graphic designers vote on the legitimacy of submitted work that is in dispute. Tell us about that.
Exactly. Yeah, we might have, like I was saying before, people do submit unoriginal artwork. That does happen. It's somewhere around like 10 or 15 that get reported for every 5,000 submitted to the site. It's not a very high number. But when it does, the designers will report it. They'll say, I don't think this is a legit piece of artwork. And the other designers will all vote on whether or not that artwork is, should be taken down, if it's real or not. And if it's found guilty, the designer can get banned. The artwork is definitely taken down immediately. And that all happens behind the scenes.
And there's definitely a skill to graphic design. You either have it or you don't.
I agree. If you have an eye for it, if you know what you're doing, there's definitely the knack for getting a logo or any sort of graphic right.
George, I don't know if it's the Hatchwise name, the service, or the fun of the experience, but you have had some media attention, which is great to get free advertising.
Yeah, that's right. We've been featured in Inc. magazine a couple times, and we've been blessed enough to get some decent publicity, and that's always been been a nice thing.
You started from scratch in 2008. It is exciting to know that there are still opportunities out there for entrepreneurs in the internet space. Who was some of your mentors?
That's a good question. I've always been a fan of, anyone that can take something and make it, into something really big. Someone that can take an idea that they have and be brave enough to go out there and do it. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I know them when I see them.
Well, thanks for being with us today. Last words of advice for people who want to go on Hatchwise.com and get their logo or graphic design made and have a contest started, George?
Just go to the site. You can see all the projects live. It's Hatchwise, HATCHWISE.com. And, you'll love what you see, and give us an email or call if you have any questions.
Yes, Hatchwise.com. Over 600,000 designs created. For more information about Hatchwise, go to thebusinessexperienceshow.com. Follow our blog and Twitter. You just heard Hatchwise on The Business Experience Show. You're listening to The Business Experience Show on Sports Radio AM 830 KLAA.
Sports Radio AM 830.